So, good morning. It's good to be back here on another edition of QTV this morning. If you're just tuning in, I am Ibrahim Balde. And thank you very much for always, tuning to this program and also sharing the platform with us. Your contributions on our social media handles. Wherever you are, from Katong to Koina, we're saying this is QTV this morning, and I am with Julde Njai. Julde, good morning. Where have you been all this while? I've not been seeing you around.
Good morning, Ibrahim. I've been around, you know, juggling with school, work, and all of that, and other projects. But yeah, I'm doing well. It's just a lot on my table right now. Yeah, but alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
It will pass, come to pass. Everything will come to pass.
Right.
Mr. Momodu Mboj, you're looking so British this morning.
The sunset day?
What does that look like?
You Britishized it today.
What is that? Describe what you call British.
British lañ xamee sol
Describe.
simis ba pare dóoru xam nga sol socks you amee this multicolor socks. You are multicolor socked today. ba pare dóor sa ay xam nga shades lifin lunette you xam nga you look more British.
So loolu mooy British,
xam nga
right?
soo gisee American bi ak British bi da nga leen dee mun a ràññee.
That's interesting. Wax ma bu American bi.
American bi they like big things, they like big trousers, big shirts, big chains, you know, they love big watches. Xam nga all those things. Everything big America.
So dañ dee sol lu leen ëppa.
Waaw lu rëy daal.
Yes.
Waaw so that's
Outside thinking yooyu.
waaw ñun noonu lañ dee describe American.
waaye fële kële moo gën a M, right?
waaw British bi
moo gën a M.
waaw.
Okay. If you say so.
I'm British.
You look more British.
Waaye man maa Banjul la musal leen ma seen wax yële.
Mr. Mbodj am na
Hey, da nga sañse loolu mooy kaa bi Mr. Mbodj.
am na ñu dee ne ñoom waa Banjul lañ waaye am na ku ma ne déedéet Mr. Mbodj waa Bakaw la. loo doon def Bakaw. Mr. Mbodj yow sa dox bëri la nii fi Banjul la.
Banjul la Bakaw soriwut.
déedéet waaye looy uti fële.
da ngaa ne nii
yàlla nga bri
benn ndox bu gàtta rek nga egg Bakaw. So in the end, yes, in the 80s, yes, that's very true. I was very much Bakaw.
Bakaw
as well, yeah.
How have you been?
waa Bakaw dañ am waxtaan waa ñu nag yow.
Mr. Mbodj rek.
especially waa ATC. waa Bakaw I will go to Kachikali wala Jalet sa biir. Okay, so it's good to be back. It's good to have you, Mr. Mbodj. We'll be reviewing the newspapers with you. Then we'll be sending our live view. It will go outside. I'm going to say Tobaski mode Julde. And right now, environment bi yëpp affaire Tobaski la. Hari fële, choli fële, ñëwkati fële. Xam nga every butut boo am.
Absolutely.
Taxaw.
So dañoo yónni caméra yi ñu dem si biti ñu cegal ñu lu fa nekka. Then ñu connect ko si programme bi. Ba pare ChildFund tam dañoo ñëw dinañ waxtaan seen dañ bugg a def système boo xam ne dañoo enroll every child foog nga dugga school understand nga enrollment for all kids it's very important loolu dafa wàññi suñ illiteracy rate bi xam nga last time on this program ma ngi doon wax ne Gambia the literacy rate dafa tuuti understand nga compared to other countries even Guinea Bissau ñoom ñoo ñu ëppa ñu jànga understand nga so Lolo, this will try to eradicate that, So it's important, Julde. Yeah. Do we have an African proverb?
Yes, our African proverb this morning is from Zambia.
Zambia Lusaka.
Yeah. So it reads, if you want to get rid of the flies, throw the bad meat away. Throw the bad meat away. But I think dañ dee wax ne comme ndawal bu am flies yi nii foo gis flies ñuy surround ndawal bi ndawal boobu moo nekk ndawal bu baax waaye ndawal boo xam ne daal comme amul flies
yi sa suur nañ ko
exactly it's not so I don't know.
Waaw xam nga man wax yooyu laa de ooyee folksy wisdom suñ maam yi daan waxee for whatever reason waaye in the context of this isn't it bad meat. Even the very name bad. Man, look, I'm bad. I don't want it. It's self-evident, you know what I mean? Self-explanatory. So, look bon buguma. So, in this context, it's really look bon. what it spawns, sort of symptoms and sources. Hang on, the flies, that's the symptom of amnalufaneka. What's the source? The bad meat. So I think this is really talking about symptoms and sources, what appears to be and what's deep within. You know what I mean? Imagine flies yange the mangi isisma upukai di drairek. But it's still there. I'm just wasting my energy. I'll probably have to do it forever. Well, as long as the bad meat is there, they will come. So why not attack the bad meat and save yourself all that, you know, expenditure, wasteful expenditure of energy.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, for me that come when sometimes it's not necessarily the meat is bad, but because flies are drawn to meat, you know, in essence, they're drawn to meat whether good or bad, you know, it is in their nature. But again, I think it's important. I am in agreement with your interpretation. It's important that when something happens, crisis happen, it's important to look at the root cause of the problem to actually, you know, to be able to solve it. But in most cases, if we have issues, whether, you know, family, our relationship, whether at work or, you know, wherever we are, when problems emanate, normally what we focus on is just the surface. We don't go deep to actually know what is the root cause of the problem. And once we don't really get hold of that, or we are not able to really know what the root cause is, it is very, very difficult to actually find a solution to that problem. You know, I think sometimes we just, you know, underestimate the problem and then be like, but that small thing that we are underestimating can really develop into something big. So I think you're right. You know, whatever the situation is, it starts from somewhere small. So lofik is dal murey ñi yem ñu ko cio wala mu nekk problem bu rëy boo xam ne ñi seems not to find a solution to it is because dafa nekk loo xam ne daal mu doon grow lu ndaw la mu grow ñi xam nga ñi underestimate ko grow ba mu nekk loo xam ne daal lu rëy la ñu ne lii rëy na di fan la jóg bàyyee ko waaye mu ngi fa woon ñun ñoo ko bàyyi xel. So I think it's important, whatever it is, whether it's relationship, family, work, when something is happening and it's not, you know, going in the right direction, I think it's good that you confront ko, you address ko immediately, you mu génn foofu noonu than just buy ko. But what I also know is that in our Senegambian setting, dañ buga yi fi maslaha torop. Comme Mr. Mbodj dina ma def dara neexut ma, but I will still let it go because I don't want to offend Mr. Mbodj. Or suma ko waxe maybe my relationship with Mr. Mbodj suma waay, like everyone knows that, dina yahoo and all of that, and I don't want that. So I would rather prefer to be a hypocrite or than to wax Mr. Mbodj exactly comme man lu ma feel or what is really going on. So I think loolu moo dey cause a lot of problems, you know, especially homes, family, relationship, workplaces,
everywhere, even politically.
Yes.
It is everywhere.
Where,
one can apply
to
this sort of thing. You know what I mean? Imagine a political society, a village called Ilmarog, and then you've got lots of protests. The authorities will crack down on these protests. But they never really ask themselves, why are they protesting? What is it that I need to do to stop that? See, stuff like that. You can even learn, you know, it is something like that. So it is important to get to the bottom of things. Really,
it is.
You know, if you're going to find sort of long-term sustainable solutions. Try to get to the bottom of things.
Let's filter it down to our individual, you know, the individual itself. I mean, so you can go through certain things and thinking there is a temporary solution, I mean, to your problems. That can make an individual muduga si yo hamne lolu daf ko gëna indil damage. Understand nga? It's better to go through the process. You look at, okay, where have I gone wrong? What have I done? I mean, what is going to be the permanent solution to this problem? Gis nañ fi ñoo xamne dañ start tuhu because dañ am problem. Understand nga? Lolu rek continue. xam nga mu nekka a bigger problem in the future. So loolu yëpp gis nañ it's important comme Julde nu mu ko waxee you go to the bottom of the problem nga solve ko then at the end of the time you know nga am peace. So
how many dang ko they solve or not, it is important that understand. Some understanding.
Okay.
I think that's what it is.
Okay.
So don't need problem buma amrek. You know, automatically by definition, I'm not solution to apply. Oh, life would have been much easier. Life isn't like that. Thank you. So, yang issue, you've thought about it. I'm not law apply. Outcome seem larger. That's not entirely up to you. Because you're young interact with agents outside of you. You do not determine how they're going to behave. So there's always that risk of failure in every action because you're not entirely in control of the situation, all the facts. So that's the sort of like versatile mindset that one should be in. I'm not being a poet, or a negative capability. This intermediate space, zone, where I can accept, tolerate, how much the facts. It's an extraordinary situation. Then you move on, rather than depopulate this uncertainty with all kinds of fantasies. This is what we do. We populate this space with all kinds of fantasies, and then in the end we are disappointed with life because it didn't give us what we fantasized about.
Absolutely. I think you nailed it. I mean, it's just all about finding stuff, you know, where your weaknesses are and, you know, to be able to, you know, tackle it. Kenenki, what the person does, you can't control it, but when a situation arises, I think you have the power to actually control your own emotions, how you feel, you know, how you're able to handle the situation. That can in itself help in solving part of the problem. I know the other person, you have no control over them, but how you approach situations really mattered a lot, especially in addressing when it comes to conflicts. Then for instance, just recently the Gala protest, you know, a classical example of that is the Gala protest from nekani da nga gis ne de Gala suñ leen joxoon permit ñu protest maybe all of these things would not have happened while léegi joxuñ gaay permit bi and then protest bi counter protest and a lot of things léegi mu nekk a nationwide thing, you know. So why su dee ne dañ ko address on ñu jox gaay ñu permit bi maybe just maybe du doon fuel to this level, du doon aga to this level, but because joxuñ gaay dafa ignite that anger and all of that, and even people that were not interested in the protest initially, they join at the end of the day, you know, and it goes beyond just the protest. All different elements, vehicles and all of that, everyone has a voice as far as that protest was concerned.
That's it. Right. And this is interesting, and then Bella, you can come in here. Earlier on, sort of underestimating or whatever certain things. Man, if you look at the issue, it's a misdiagnosis. Then they misdiagnose situations. Right? Earlier, fantasies they fill in your head, you know they lead. The whole situation, so can misdiagnose. Then therefore, as a doctor, what would you prescribe?
Wrong prescription.
You are going to kill your patient. So there, whoever decided need the permit. It was extraordinary because bunjale the normal really reasons why one shouldn't. Security, we are all concerned, but when you look at the situation, you cannot see anything. You know what I mean? Numbers, because you have a right to protest, but mantam as a pedestrian, suma buguta boka duma boka, so suma doh dolen ma sona. Traffic as well. It doesn't mean that I'm pull stop traffic. Who do you think you are? Stuff like that. So please get forward on you. Pull me make sure it's a right to protest, interfere with somebody else's right to do whatever, but not whether now you permit or not. they overstep their mark. So if you equate the law with lan la IG wax, that is uncivilized. That cannot be. You know, you just cannot say that, you know, you're not going to give you this and that's it. Like it's a diktat, it's an edict. We're not dealing with edicts. So we just have to be mature when we're dealing with these things. You know
so
what I mean?
Hamga realize sometimes because of your action you can fuel other problems as well.
So mature would they mishandle
noise bisa munon nañ ko avoid bu nekké demon nañ ñu joxe sen pétition ba paré ñu wax luñ buga understand nga ba paré ku nekk dem ñibi kiram munon na am all this thing would happen.
Absolutely.
So nonu la
so Lisa mun nga ko apply anywhere. So be careful how you handle lo xamne potentially
it can work.
lu ndaw la doon nekki de waaye nga mishandle ko mu rëy mu blossom into something.
Although duma jënda 1 kilo meat ma sani yep, I'll not throw away all the bad meat. I will boil it and eat it. No matter what happens. Kilo yapa dafa share.
For sure. 400? No, 450 now.
Dafa share, you know.
No idea.
So you have no idea?
Yo do de jinanda.
Vegetarian na.
Nekuma vegetarian either. Man, I live alone. Man, I don't like my kitchen. So when I always eat out.
Fast food.
So fast food, whatever.
Motul fast food, you know, nekut jep nga wara leka tam de. Amna yo xamne ngorom.
I just do what I do, man. Li xew na xew.
Ñu ne biir amut kubéer.
Luy xew na
xew. Yeah.
No,
that's my philosophy in my
don't risk your life. Life is so precious.
No, while you bury tam risk.
Yeah.
See, what do you mean? Do you want to eliminate risk entirely from actions? Oh, this will be really dull. What a dull life that would be.
Okay, thank you. So we'll take a short break. After the break, then we will do the newspaper review. We'll be back.
With its easy-to-use, secure and convenient mobile app that allows you to carry out all your transactions. No matter where you are or what time it is, you can always access your funds. With the new Q Money app, you can cash in and out, buy credit, buy Q Power, shop, make payments, and so much more. You can also send Q Money, pay bills, receive international remittances, and transfer cash to others. Just download the app from your Play Store or App Store and get started. For more information, call customer care on 133. Q Money, Sinu Calpe. We innovate, others follow.
Gas, the energy that brings us together.
Powered by Africa, Oryx Energies.
Yes, we are back again. Thanks to our director, Aliu Jallo. He is trying to innovate new ways of directing this program. Exactly. So we are back. And, you know, a new imam or a new ustaz, you know, is vying to run for office. I mean, and many people are talking differently about it. Some people said, who is he? We don't know him. And some asked, what have you done in this country? I mean, to warrant him. But I concluded by saying he has the right to vote and be voted for. As a citizen of the Gambia, it is embedded in our constitution. So if he wants to run for president office, why not? Why not? Why not? Why not? Probably I'll be voting for him. Nobody knows.
You introduced him as a new imam. Maybe he's been an imam for a long time. What you mean is the latest pretender.
Exactly. Exactly.
Not a new imam. Who happens to be an imam.
He is not a new imam.
Okay. We do not know, certainly. Let's just make that distinction.
In fact,
yes, the latest pretender, yes. Absolutely. So now, this is an interesting one. Imam, I thought he was into spiritual things with imams. But this one is into the material. I don't know. Maybe this is our version of liberation theology. Now, what is his program?
Right.
And you know,
That's
Mr.
interesting.
You will be surprised to know. I mean, the Islamic scholar populate, like the people that went to Islamic school, you'll be surprised to know they make a big chunk, a large chunk of this country.
But what makes you think that they'll vote for him?
Well, probably, I mean, they are Islamic attributes.
This is what we call identity politics.
Probably.
We have to move away from identity
that's what's
politics.
happening in this country.
It is immature.
The
whole world. I mean, that's why you've got a term for it. You know, in Britain, in the US, it's all over the place.
Yeah.
I mean, politics shouldn't really depend on that. You're not thinking about it. It should be about policies. What you're doing, what you promise to do, what I think that you can do. Never mind that we are brothers. If we are brothers, I think you cannot do it, I wouldn't vote for you.
There is one thing that I know. There is one thing I know. He will get a large crowd.
Well, you do not know it. You think that might happen.
That's what I
What do
think.
you mean by knowing? Do you know what knowing means?
Looking at things, looking at how things are happening
Boy.
in this country.
Don't mind Mr.
You
Boy.
know.
He knows what you're talking
He
about.
knows what I'm saying. So
No, but I just want to rein you back. You know,
you
do
just
not
mentioned
confuse
initially,
assumptions.
Initially, you said
assumptions.
this is what our politic is. When I said his Islamic attributes, probably, I mean, many people vote for...
We were talking about that before the program.
Exactly.
Don't talk about that.
No,
Don't
no,
refer to that.
No, it's in the program. I said, you said, why do you think people will follow him?
Right.
I said, probably his Islamic attributes. You understand?
Right.
There are people that you know, I mean, they only need leaders that have Islamic and religious qualities.
You see, but this is the language you're using. You said, probably because of the religious attributes. Well, probably doesn't mean that that's going to happen. So I do not know what position to take.
I just know how
You know what I mean?
our Gambia think.
Well, what makes you an expert on how the Gambia thinks? He has a stereotype of what the Gambia is. He thinks that he understands the Gambia. Young man, you don't.
And you think I don't understand?
The Gambia is so multi-layered.
No. And you think I don't understand? After being here for close to 40 years, I don't understand?
The Gambia is so complex. The Gambia is it's got so many layers. You know some layers. There are many others that
I'm talking
young
about
man,
layers
you
that I know.
You don't know.
It's the layers that I know. Those are the layers that I'm talking about.
Yeah, and we are
Be
a
careful.
Mox country.
Be careful.
It's very difficult to actually know. Sometimes we even sit here and be like, who are we really as a country, as a people? Because, you know, today we are white, the next day we are blue, the other day we are yellow. So you can't really tell. People
but
really align with them, you know, based on their principles, based on how well they know each other and how, you know, the benefit they are really getting from people. People align with political parties based on different reasons.
Different reasons, yes.
And I want to believe that, for me, really, I think Gambia is at a stage right now where they wouldn't just take someone in easily, because we, like, the other day we were talking and I was like, okay, I think we had it all. We had the best, the good, best, and even the worst of it. So I think we are in a point in our lives that we actually, you know, draw from the best, we draw from the worst, and now we are at the edge, or the middle, I must say. So I think it's really important for people to really look at ideologies of the policies of political parties and those that are coming. Gone are the days where people should just look at individuals and then just vote for them or align themselves with political parties based on who they think they are. I think this is a time of the season where Gambians should really be on the alert to actually scrutinize some of these party policies to know really what they have for the Gambian people, rather than just aligning themselves with, you know, ideologies or beliefs, or attribute themselves based on, you know, maybe they believe that this is an imam, he is an Islamic scholar and all of that. You know, sometimes all that glitters is not gold.
It's not gold.
Just
That's
because
true.
he is an imam doesn't make him a better leader or a good
You know,
leader.
sometimes I tend to, question myself. Do we really understand what politics is? And do we really understand what a leader is when we are choosing? I mean, are we copying from other countries that have gone beyond when it comes to politics? You understand?
Right.
But Mr. Mboj, whether you like it or not, I mean, people in the Gambia, they vote for people based on certain attributes. Okay, if you can vote for a person because the person gave you a party T-shirt, you understand? We've seen people that voted for people because of party T-shirts. We've seen people that voted for political parties because of, okay, the monies that were given to, I mean, an individual. Or maybe, okay, I am closer to Adama Barrow, I'm closer to Lawyer Dabo or Mama Kande, you know, any other person, you know, I'll vote for them based on that, even if the individual is not competent. We have seen that in this country. And you cannot deny that.
Oh my God, between you two, you've said so much. And each one of what you've said, we need to unpack.
Please, let's unpack it.
Unpack it.
Nobody
No, we are ready. We are here till tomorrow.
We don't have time.
We don't have
We
time.
don't have
We are not going anywhere.
Don't have time for that.
Okay.
Julie, this is a strange one. It is as if there is something called the Gambian, one platform. We know what our identity is, and we know all sorts of things about ourselves. But who are these we? Why do I expect to have a singular identity, a singular platform, a singular this, a singular that? In a population of 2 million, you are going to have different voices. Maybe some of them will be more progressive than others. Some would complement, and in other areas they will diverge and even fight. So you are going to have all sorts of reactions to what our situation is. It is just a matter of, this is how I put it, would the educated classes really, as we thought at independence, still, I don't know, can we recover that idealism and go out and run the country? Every country really, it's run by the elites. They're the ones with the education, they can run civil service, they can do things, really. Even science is done by elites, really. That's how it is all over the place. But here, the elite just betrayed things. It was much more interested in its belly than anything else, than serving. So that's really what happened in our situation. So who are the we? There are many we. Just depends on who is in power. There's not one. So let's be careful what we can expect. Unless you're going to come with a dictatorship and impose a single identity, you see. This is why we don't like dictatorships. This is why democracy is difficult, because you get so many voices, the multiplicity of voices in democracies. Then yes, who are we? Who are we? Even Britain, America, they're all asking the same questions. What are we? Who are we? What's the national character? Does it exist? I do not know. But there are many, many, many voices. There are many, many voices.
Absolutely.
So let's be careful with the we. You know.
Sound check.
Exactly. So let's take a look at another story, Julia.
Still understand that?
Yes.
We have NPP is out to serve generations of Gambians. Barrow made this remark during the...
Generations of Gambians.
So he made these remarks during the inauguration of the party's newly constructed national headquarters in Bundung. And it was quite an interesting one. The event
sound check, one,
packed
two,
with
one,
activities
two, sound check, one, two,
from
one, two,
cross-capiting of UDP and GDC.
That I know, Asobinaj. Yes.
Asobinaj. So from the cross-capiting of UDP and GDC supporters to the NPP, to the launch of the party's political magazine, and to the unveiling of the
sound
new
check, sound check.
facility. So it was quite an
Sound
interesting
check.
one. But one of the things that Barrow mentioned that really got me thinking was the fact that he was speaking on unity, which I think it's important. For him, he believes that in order for people to achieve the common good is to be united, which I think it's very important. He went on to actually explain the fact that how he became a president, a leader, during the 2016 presidential election. A lot of people have this saying that maybe he came in, he's an accidental president and all of that. But again, that day he explained that he was not really an accidental president. He came in through a lot of processes from the party level, how he was elected to serve as a National Assembly member, from there where he served as a deputy treasurer to treasurer in the party, and some of his contribution to the UDP, and eventually some of the things he was able to do for them to trust him, to give him really the mantle of leadership. And even with the nomination of him to become the flag bearer of the party in 2016 came in, when they voted, it was him unanimously. People chose him, but because they wanted that transparency and all, they decided to actually vote, and then they selected him as the party flag bearer. So it was quite interesting, to learn that, they've gone through all those processes, to actually select him as the flag bearer during the 2016 presidential election. But it's important. I mean, for me, I think unity is key in anything that people are doing. And I think that people are free to actually choose whatever political party that they really want to join. This is democracy after all. But people should also align themselves with political parties that have the vision, the mission to actually move this country forward. Gone are the days where people just focus on political parties based on their own individual interests. And like you mentioned, I think the elites of this country, to some extent, really betrayed the cause. It's things. People are really focused on what really benefits them, really. I will sit here today as a preacher, as a very good citizen, but trust me with a position, give me a position and see what I will do. People will be surprised as to what Julde really does. So I think you are right when you said that it's good for people to know what is the national identity, what is our national character. I think it's important for people to really know.
Well, I'm not sure whether it is about the knowing. It is a process. When you ask this, then where would that lead you to? That would allow you to explore ideas. This is not something that there's an answer for, that one can know once and forever. That doesn't work like that. The whole notion of identity will keep on evolving with time. You know what I mean? If you were to compare 100 years before now, how people thought of themselves, and from us, you will see a massive difference, even psychologically, and all of that. So the notion of identity keeps shifting, doesn't it? There's no one sort of fossilized one anywhere. Absolutely. So the idea of unity, you mentioned two things there. But what do we mean? This is what I was saying. We are disunited to the extent that this is what party politics does. You are going to have different political parties competing to occupy our state house. So to that extent, you are going to have rival views. You are going to have a multiplicity of views. So what kind of unity are we looking for? Around what? And does unity mean that there shouldn't be any dissent? See, these are important questions. So when I say that I want unity, well, what would that look like when I achieve it? You know what I mean? So let us be careful we are not beguiled by words. Let us look to the reality of it. What would that look like? Because just take 2 or 3 people together and you discuss issues, you're bound to get disagreement. Does it mean that those two are disunited?
We have our views.
You have your views. So there must be I think I like the other way around. Unity, fine, but let us be, it's a wonderful phrase, let us be productively be disagreeable.
Right.
Let us be productively disagreeable, because there will always be disagreements on one thing or another. But it's productive, it wouldn't bring disunity, we will agree to discuss again. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
So let us be careful about the unity bit. And the other bit you said for generations. Then I will say, whether NPP will be here for generations or not, we cannot know that, including the president cannot know. The voters will tell. After a generation, then we will know.
Do you know it is a bit risky, I mean, to try to predicting the future while it's not here? We've seen and heard leaders in the Gambia who said we can be here for 1 billion years. I mean, at the end of the time when they left, their parties died with them. So you cannot preempt. You cannot. I mean,
I think
I'm not sure whether that president was really predicting. So no, nobody can predict. Obviously, we all know that.
Right.
Yet we make what we call projections. Of necessity, we must really, because in the present, all we have is what happened in the past, and then thinking towards the future. So. And we have to move towards the future. So I must make certain projections for me to know what to do today.
Absolutely.
There are certain assumptions
so I
about
think,
life.
The context at which he was talking about was the fact that they are establishing homes, NPP homes for, the supporters. You have the one at Bundung, the national headquarters. You have the one at Churchillstown, you have the one at Birkama and other, headquarters and bureaus that they have in the country. So for him, that is important to actually have a solid foundation, as far as politics is concerned. It is important for party supporters to have a place to belong, to go back to analyze, come up with strategies, plans, and all of that. And he was talking also on something that is very important. He said he will leave, and once he does, someone is, coming to take his place. And already they are making preparations, towards that. I think that is what he meant when he said that. And I think it's important because, like he mentioned, we have a lot of political parties here. Once their leaders are gone, the political party dies with the leaders.
That we know.
The PPP was here, the APRC was here, and, we are now seeing a lot of parties that are really very vibrant political parties that died along with their leaders.
You see, this is the problem. Whilst you were enumerating all of these different things that the NPP is doing right now, I was going to tell you, at one point here with the PPP, they had offices all over the place. We are a companies, Ampagai. They had everything. Okay. Where are they today? So, in other words, whether I will last for generations will depend on what I do, what actually happens. I'm just trying to refocus all of this back to the action that I actually do.
Right.
You know what I mean? So how you handle matters will determine. And if you want generations, that's a long time. You wouldn't be around. We all die at some point.
Right.
But when your ideas are great, maybe your soul lives on a bit longer because people will be talking about your ideas 1,000 years afterwards. There are some writers we're still talking about from ancient Greece, maybe 2,000 years ago. So certain things can survive, but let us be careful and be modest and know how we project things and how we focus on what is significant. You know what I mean? Knowing the difference, as they say, between the sunlight and the stage light.
Right.
Exactly. So thank you very much, Mr.
Thank
for reviewing the papers with us. And we still extend our heartfelt condolence to the family of the late journalist Fatou Samba.
Yeah.
She was laid to rest yesterday at the Latrikunda Cemetery P2. I mean, many Gambians, from different sectors, the media, government, political parties. We've seen many people witnessed the burial, and it's telling you how pragmatic she was when it comes to her job, how she was proactive. You know, so we pray for her final rest in Jannatul Firdausi. Yeah, so thank you. Let's take a short break. After the break, the program continues. We'll be back.
QCell mooy suñu boss. QCell mooy suñu boss. Go, ebe dawa full network suta tili QCell. Ni lafta diamla wati jamala mune diata QCell. Most reliable network dumala keta wati QCell. Wo quality man nyon soto jam pona manke QCell. Ani be wuloni farole kono walante be bako na jala fayola network ko se taria QCell suñu boss. Nyo finjeka indi 3G ñu delu taxi 4G plus and now we bring you 5G. 5G. First and only 5G provider. Itella follow adi doron nesa keno. Gambia bela nyon tawo fele QCell. Ko fasunta buka busi QCell. Itella molti milka kukutol nati Gambia. QCell meta lori la kiliano yele imanjina amanda wala itella ka quality dila dadi ma itelle silo wala wodol mume be keno ma. QCell sunyu boss. QCell sunyu boss. QCell sunyu boss. QCell sunyu boss. Connection be bambandi QCell sunyu boss. QCell most innovative QCell sunyu boss.
Money arti webi na fitora gol no yawi te non kadi no moƴƴi Money a wawa wadde piiji ɗin fow kala ko wonɗa wattu kala a wawa hendade mbuudi maɗin e o Money app kesong a wawa nattinde mbuudi ma ɗum yaltina soda credit soda paba soda ko falaɗa te non kadi wawa hen yoɓude himɓe e ko heewi ida wawi kadi nuldude Money yoɓa bilji maɗin te non kadi hendoɗa mbuudi ko yaasi nulda himɓe kadi mbuudi fi nafitoragol ɗum no weeɓi yahu ka play store ma ɗum ka app store fi wawa fuɗɗade fi heɓugol hen ko laaɓi noddu Money customer care e 133 Money suñu kalpe minen udditi lawol ngol si woɓɓe jokki Money e muruntananne koteke anilañi mobile app sone yaringo a lannayata ndun e sekuwol be keno ibe dawoda wati wati e se munafanno ila kodola anin Money la ñim mobile app kuto e se kodo dundino ye kodo fintinde e se credit ko sanno ye power sang ye fengol sang ndun fanan e se mol jono anin ku jamalu e se Money kino yela bilol jo ndun fanan bantala banko se kodo kiyeno e se kodo fanan kino do kotenye pour que munafanyina a download sign play store anin app store ni laftaka Serengo sotoje Money customer care commandi 133 Money suñu kalpe ntolle nga silo walang dole mol noma. It's Tobaski time. Whether you are sending from the Gambia to UK, USA, Europe, or the other way round, Red Coat Express has you covered. We are the Gambia's trusted air freight and shipment experts. Fast, reliable, and affordable. If you're sending from the Gambia to UK, $2,125 for the first kilo, just $400 for each extra kilo. UK to the Gambia, £6 per kilo, drop-off included, £7 per kilo, collection 10 kilogram. From pickup and packaging to customer delivery, we handle it all. Stress-free, whether you choose our air freight for speed or shipment for bigger loads, Red Coat Express has you covered. Please contact us via WhatsApp on 3077776 on Kairaba Avenue or 5322-2900 at the airport. Or you can contact our international number on +447 353 133 808. Red Coat Express, flying your Tobaski joy across borders.
We are back again. Red Coat Express, flying your Tobaski joy across borders. Yeah, so we are back. Let's head to the third segment of this program, and we'll be talking to ChildFund, the Gambia, urges school enrollment for all kids. I mean, we have Fatou Jassi, Education Coordinator, ChildFund Gambia, and Musa Jobate, Education for All Network Gambia. Gentlemen and lady, it's good to have you people in the studios.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
Yes. Fatu, how are you?
I'm fine, and you?
Everything is going well?
Yeah.
Good, good. Are you preparing for Tobaski?
Yeah, of course. I'm preparing for Tobaski.
It's already Tobaski, huh?
Yeah, it's already Tobaski.
Mr. Jobate, yeah. So how far now? Harbi ñëw Harbi war naa ñëw de.
No, inshallah.
Huh?
Inshallah.
Inshallah. I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
So let's move on. Let's talk about why did ChildFund come up with this initiative? Yeah. So let's start with
ChildFund. Okay. Good morning once again. Fatu, as you said, the education specialist at ChildFund.
Okay.
And coordinating the OAC project, that is the Zero Out of School project. Okay, ChildFund came about with this, not actually only ChildFund, but this is a collective thing that we're doing together with IFANET, Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education, UNICEF, and Education Above All in Qatar. They are the funders of the project. Okay, there was a research that was conducted in 2018. This multiple indicator cluster survey, and this research shows that 61,765 children are out of school in the Gambia, not going to school. And we all know that as parents, children, if you don't give them a place to go, they will give themselves a place to go.
True.
And they may go to places that you may not want them to go. So we believe that putting our heads together and hands together, our efforts together, we can send these children back to school. So that is how this project came about. And there are some factors that led to this out of school, this huge number of children not going to school. One of them is early marriage that brings out this dropout, and the poverty line is also another thing. And inadequate awareness among the parents on the importance of education also contributed. And also the level of foundational literacy and numeracy is a little bit inadequate, or I can say not very good. So these are actually some of the factors that led to this. So based on this, we decided to come together, put on a proposal to come up with this project to make sure that these children are back to school, so that they will not go to places that their parents, all of us, don't want them to go.
So, Mr. Jobate, because I mean, she mentioned a lot, the causes are enormous. Yeah. How do you intend, how does this project really address the issues of out-of-school dropouts? It's a lot, early marriage here, awareness creation, so there is a lot of factors involved.
Yeah, thank you very much once more for the opportunity to come here and be talking to the nation on something that is very much concerning to all of us. Yes, before I just answer that question, I just want to add to what Fatu have said about the factors that were responsible for these numerous out-of-school children in the country. In addition to what he said, is also access is also something that is very rooted. Some communities will just complain that it's due to lack of access from distant from the community to the school, to the nearest schools, and you have this thick forest in between kids, that's very young age and the like. And again, also the issue of discrimination and stigma is also something when it comes to it, the issue of persons with disabilities. So because you realize that a lot of children with disabilities are not in school currently. Coming to your question, of course, how to address this issue. Yes, we must start with, in the first place, like knowledge building. We must sensitize. We must create awareness, because it's a collective thing, ownership that we all need to take. So that being the case, it must start with trying to demystify, some of the concepts that we have with us, like Fatu said, when it comes to in terms of early marriage that will lead you to our traditional and cultural beliefs and of course practices. This we need awareness raising. We need to collect raise the awareness of the community members, in particular the parents, those that are practicing that particular culture, to tell them that, or to let them be aware that of course those girls that they are taking out of school and sending them to marriage could have even done better in their matrimonial home when they acquire that education that they deprive them of. And also, I mean, when it comes to in terms of persons with disability, again it all goes back to the same awareness creation. The parents of children with disability need to know that children with disability are like any other children, just like their counterparts. And they have that potential in them. They just only have a disability that obviously no one can determine or no one can predict who next is going to be fall in their situation. So that being the case, of course, that opportunity need to be created for them. That means the parents at home need to be so cooperative to be sending their children to school, but again, the school environment also need to be prepared for those kind of children. I mean, you need to, the learning, I mean, the environment need to be inclusive, both from the, the playing ground, the learning materials, the structures, you name it. All need to be catering for persons with disabilities. Otherwise, they'll be excluded. So that also, lead you to the issue of accessibility. Accessibility here comes about structures and, of course, learning materials and what all what it includes for a children with disability to be able to have that, a kind of education that his or her counterpart have. Yes, it also, like Fatou said, as per research is indicated, the number of children who were out of schools. Government also have a role to play in this. Like I said it here earlier, it comes about, the issue of accessibility, the distance, from communities to the nearest schools. Of course, government need to double up here in be able to provide schools to the communities and be able also not only provide in schools as per structure, but also be able to provide the teachers, the trained qualified teachers with full capacity to take care of these children, in particular those with disabilities. So the learning material, the textbooks also need to be provided. That's why if you look at the composition of the team, in this project, the Zero Out of School, you have the Minister of Education, whose role is to, continue conducting researches and provide us with the database for us to be able to do our job, and also to also provide schools, to build schools, but provide learning material, and as well as providing teachers and train them. So, I mean, it also comes to the role of the ChildFund. I mean, they, responsible for caravan and teacher training, and as well as, cash transfer, right? Maybe Fatou will buttress on that. And then IFANET, of course, is responsible for the community awareness raising. We are the one responsible for raising the awareness of people, for us, all of us to collectively take up our collective responsibilities to make sure that, what we yearn for, we achieve it. And also, part of our role in the project also is to also advocate for the recognition of majalis as formal education. That will also bring me to the number of out-of-school children, because these children in this majalis, of course, are in a form of education. But when it comes to counting the number of those out of school, or those children in school, these majalis are not counted. So obviously, it is important, since the government recognizes them as form of education. But this need to be, it need to be given that much. Exactly. So therefore, that is also something. That's why part of the project it also include advocacy for the recognition of majalis as formal education.
So I just want to know. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, aside from the advocacy bit, which I think is very important, what is is there anything tangible that the project seeks to achieve? Because you mentioned things like discrimination, you mentioned things like early marriage, and I think there are already regulatory frameworks in place in the Gambia, to actually address some of these things. It's just the enforcement bit that is really lagging. But in terms of the access and poverty, those are things which are so critical, because someone maybe might want to take his or her child to school, but because they don't have the means. Access, maybe the school is far away, some of these kids can really go there. You talk about the issue of the government coming in place, but what are some of the tangible things that this project really seeks to achieve, and how much are we really talking about here?
Okay, as we mentioned so many factors that are responsible for this big number not going to school, 61,000 plus. And our aim and objective is to ensure they are all in school. And that's why we have, because of those numerous factors, that's why we have different partners in the project. And each of these partners, you have a role to play. I think Mr. Jobate mentioned some of the roles that they are playing. And as ChildFund, as a partner in this project, to address this, to achieve this aim and objective, what we're doing, because we talk about access, that is constructing schools, but also the distance that the children walk. So what ChildFund is doing to address this is we're providing bicycles to these children as our project match, because like if you join to implement a project, as a partner you are asked to contribute something. What will ChildFund contribute in this project out of the funding that is given? So ChildFund, as our project match, we are providing 3,000 bicycles to children in walking long distance, because some of them walk 3 kilometers, some of them walk 4 kilometers. Not only the distance, but like the risks involved, because like in a busy area places, you won't see a girl child walking. Some of them will be in the afternoon shift, so it's not actually safe. And walking at 4 kilometers, you reach school, you'll be tired. You will not even concentrate, you will be sweating. So we provide bicycles to them. We also talk about, one of the factors we mentioned is the poverty line. So some parents don't have the means, as you said, to send their children to school. So what we do in this project is we provide them cash. We do cash transfer to the children, 7,500 children per quarter. Every quarter, 7,500 children. We do send them cash.
How much are we talking about?
We send them $527 to them. So this we send it to them. At least we know it's not much, but at least they can use it. In case the money come, the child don't have a proper uniform, you can buy one uniform and show it. Or if the child don't have a bag, or you can keep it and be giving the child lunch to go. Or if the child don't have books, you can buy exercise book and few pencils and keep it for the child.
So how do you go about identifying who is qualified to actually benefit from these things?
Benefits. Okay, we have there's a procedure that we have that we use. We establish, and that is the procedure that guides us to do this identification together with the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education, with UNICEF. We follow the procedures to identify these children. So when they are identified, we do follow up to regularize their numbers, to make sure their numbers are correct. We have a contract with WAVE, so we send them this money through WAVE. That is how we do.
So how is this project monitored, I mean, to evaluate the impact of the project, Mr. Jobate?
Thank you very much for that. If you look at the compositions of the team, implementing this project, that gives you a synopsis of how it has been, going as in a circle, But like she said, the monitoring started within ourselves. It's like to promote the issue of transparency. If the particular partner does this, the other partners follow up to see whether it has been, like the ChildFund in the area of the bicycles that they supply to schools and the cash transfer they do. IFANET does the monitoring. So I mean, we does the monitoring independent of the ChildFund, and then we come under. But again, beyond everything, also UNICEF is also responsible for, the evaluation, the overall monitoring and evaluations of the project, together with the donors. So you will see already that there is no individual organization that is doing all. So if the ministry says, okay, build 3-4 schools in particular area, of course, as the project goes on, IFANET will one day come by, or maybe ChildFund will pick it up, or even UNICEF will pick it up. If ChildFund says we transfer this amount of money and this amount of buy schools, of course, they share that data with us, and then we go and do the monitoring. And when we do the monitoring, we talk to the beneficiaries directly. They tell us how they even spend the money. So these are, because the money, is meant for a purpose, and the purpose is to help the child to go to school. Though the amount is maybe insignificant to some, but
how much are we talking about here?
Yeah, that's the amount that Fatu said. Just that is the 500 and
we send 575.
575
per child.
But yes.
No, what I'm saying is the project, the overall amount for the project, and how long will the project last? Is it a 1 year, 2 year, or 3 year project?
The project is 3-year project.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how much is the money?
I may not able to tell the figure.
Okay.
Yeah, the amount, but it's project. This ending this June.
Okay.
Yeah, it may be extended.
Okay.
But yeah,
it's the amount is around I think it's around $5 million dollars. That includes the partnership contributions.
Oh, okay.
That includes the partnership contribution, meaning part of it is being funded by a donor, but part of it is being taken care of by the organizations, implementing the activity. Like she said, the bicycles that they provide never come from the donor, it's from their own budget. And like the ministry also, the schools that they build never come from the donor, but it's like they have to commit that, so as part of the partnership contributions.
Okay.
So
what are we doing to ensure the long-term, continuation of this project?
Yes, thank you very much. I think that is key here. The first thing is we need to cultivate the culture of ownership, because sustainability cannot, there cannot be any sustainability in the absence of ownership. You need to, and that comes to all of us jointly, because it's like during our advocacy, our campaign, like what we tell the parents that this particularly when it comes to cash transfer, here the parents are more things are, the issue with parents are more complicated here. When it comes to cash transfer, you transfer someone once, 2, 3 times, or within 3 years. At the end of the 3 years, the project stops, because donors will not continue to fund continuously. But what that cash transfer means is to support you, to encourage you to start something. That's why, I said, I was about to say, in as much as the amount may be that insignificant to some, but if you invest it in the right place, it's still, going to make at least, a lot. Because, for example, if the child lacks uniform, and that's what is, depriving him going to school, every 3 months you are sent that amount. 500 may be small, but it can at least get a child one pair of a uniform. If the textbook is what is lacking, or shoe, or whatsoever, these are some of the things. But the money is not meant to be spent on other household use, even on the child.
So how do we determine the money is not spent on certain things, on the mother's tech, or other things? I'm pretty sure the money is sent to the mothers.
Balde, you may come here, but let me just, Balde, you'll be surprised that some parents are very honest. To be honest, some parents are very honest. Like myself, I have an experience of talking to about 2, 3 people who tell me categorically clear that the money was not spent on the child. Somebody told me that he had some loans to settle. When the money came, he just settled the loan. Someone told me that very funny that she used the money to prepare dinner for her husband, which was wonderful. But then after we had to sensitize them again for them to know the purpose of the money. For them that happened out of ignorance. But most of them, when they came to know that the money was not meant for that, they even regretted their actions.
Okay. But was it communicated to them?
Initially, like, was it communicated that
when you sent it, did you tell them this is not for tech, is not for dinner for your husband, it's for the child?
Yeah, of course. IFANET does the sensitization. So before any project start, after launching the project, what you do is to sensitize the beneficiaries, or we call it the participants. We sensitize the participants on everything that we give them, the cash transfer, even the bicycles. They are not meant for their parents or their elder brothers to be riding the bicycles. Because if everybody in the house ride the bicycle after closing, they will not last long.
True.
So we do trust sensitization, but still we do encounter some problems with them. As he mentioned, some parents, they will honestly tell you that we don't know, because the number is 7,600 and it's across the country. So some information may not get to some, but like we keep sensitizing them, and every quarter, before we transfer the cars, I make sure all the focal persons, because every region there's a focal person from the regional office responsible for this project. They be in the regional office for the project. So I will call the focal persons and told them that this money is coming, we are coming to send. So even change of numbers, because some parents may lose their numbers, and they are not very well aware. Some of them will not go back and collect the numbers.
While you send the money?
Yes. So before we do any payment, we inform that if there is any problem of numbers, or somebody who changed his or her number, or who lost a number, let us know. Then we update the data before we send. And they also, the regional directorates, they have their platforms. They have their WhatsApp groups, the head teachers WhatsApp groups, so they also filter this information. So if those issues come, we quickly do our confirmations, call the parent, call the number to confirm whether this is the parent, why is your number changed. Sometimes some parents will tell us because they divorce. My wife, the child is with the father, so I don't want the child is with me, I don't want the money to go to the father. So we do have those issues.
Okay.
So we call to find out all those things, the reason why the number is changed, everything. Then we do that and
so how many
transfer the cash.
children benefited from this so far?
Oh, we spend 7,500 every quarter.
Every quarter?
Yes, I think we have sent 7 quarters. So our next coming this June will be our 8th quarter. And every quarter we send 7 to 7,000.
From what you are telling me, I think you people are focusing more on rural Gambia. You know, what about the people living in the
urban area? Yeah, the project is countrywide. The cash transfer is more of in Region 5 North, Region 5 South, Region 6, Region 3, Region 4. Those are the regions we send the cash transfer to. The bicycles, we send them to all the regions except Region 1.
Okay.
Yeah, but with the caravan, the sensitization, the caravans that we do, that one we do it countrywide. We sensitize parents, children, we train teachers, we train child advocates. And not only that, the cash transfer we do, we train teachers, because we talk about literacy and numeracy, a foundational problem in literacy and numeracy. We also, the project also build the capacity of teachers on pedagogy. So that one also we target countrywide. It's only the cash transfer that is not into region, these 2 regions, Region 2 and Region 1 and Region 2.
Okay.
But the rest, they benefit from the cash transfer. Okay. The other bicycles, all regions except Region 1. But other benefits, caravan, everything, all regions benefit.
There is no doubt that this is a very, it's a laudable initiative. But again, I think the project is short term for the fact that the cash, once the cash it's no more, once the bicycles are no more, maybe some of these kids will no more go to school. They will also drop out of school because of, you know, the poverty rate. Sometimes, like I mentioned, not because parents do not want to take their kids to school, but because they don't have the means. So what is next after this project?
Yeah.
Mr. Jobate.
Yeah, thank you very much for that question. I think that question is very important here. Like I said here earlier, that's why we trying to encourage the issue of collective ownership, because we're looking at the sustainability of the project. Right. Donors cannot continue funding forever. There must be a breaking point that they need to stop. But again, during the sensitization, what we try to make the parents to know is, sometimes it's not because you are poor and be unable to send your child to school. That's why the child is not in school. But it's because, you have problem in prioritizing. You have problem in prioritizing. So parents need to know how to prioritize and what to prioritize. Because, if you come from a household that is moderate in terms of your earning, or perhaps you have, there are certain things, certain parents or certain kids who will be at home, be unable to go to school just because maybe they lack one pair of shoes, or maybe they don't have uniform or the book to carry to school, or a bag. But just come home and see, in that household, every day, if you don't mind, they must brew attire, let's say 3 times a day. Okay, we don't say do not brew attire. We don't say do not smoke. But in fact, after all, when smoke damage health, and the education of the child's health, in fact, to improve your health, because once that child is educated, is contributing to the household, a lot is being reduced on you as the parent. Okay. Again, for the for ladies, we do not say do not join your group, contributions, your CAFOs and the what's no, but sometimes, you will see a lady who will be in 2-3 different, campaigns, and they have this weekly ususu, while the child is still at home. And the parent, the mother will still be complaining about the money to support the child. Right. Yes. Wear expensive clothes where you can, but that expensive clothes should not cost your child's education. Absolutely. So these are some of the things that will also make our because community, as a community, we need to take a collective responsibility.
True. Thank you very much, Fatou. Thank you, Musa, for coming.
Okay.
We have quickly. We will be linking. You can still hold on. Okay. We'll be linking to our live view. We have them outside. It's Tobaski mood, and we want to see what's happening before we wrap up this program. So if director can connect the live view, so that we can know what's happening currently. Yeah. So like I said, we'll be connecting to our colleague outside, and we'll take a look at the Wanter, the Ramsale, and people going up and down, preparing for the big day, Tobaski. And, many people are also leaving town, yes, going up country to pray. So we have Usman Jata on the line. Mr. Jata, good morning. How are you?
Call me the father.
Hello, Mr. Jata.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we are getting the program continue. Thank you very much for coming, Fatou and Musa. We hope to engage you more in the future.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, so we'll be right back after the break.
From the Gambia to UK, USA, Europe, or the other way round, Red Coat Express has you covered. We are the Gambia's trusted air freight and shipment experts. Fast, reliable, and affordable. If you're sending from the Gambia to UK, $2,125 for the first kilo, just $400 for each extra kilo. UK to the Gambia, £6 per kilo, drop-off included, £7 per kilo. Collection 10 kilograms. From pickup and packaging to customer delivery, we handle it all. Stress-free. Whether you choose our air freight for speed or shipment for bigger loads, Red Coat Express has you covered. Please contact us via WhatsApp on 3077776 on Kairaba Avenue or 5322-2900 at the airport. Or you can contact our international number on +447 353 133 808. Red Coat Express, flying your Tobaski joy across borders.
QCell mooy suñu boss. QCell mooy suñu boss. QCell mooy suñu boss. Soro. Go, ebe dawa full network sudatili. QCell. Ni lafta diamla wati jamala mune diata. QCell. Most reliable network dumala keta wati. QCell. Wo quality man nyon soto jam ona manke QCell. Hani be wulo ni farole kono walante be bako na jala fayola network ko se taria. QCell. Suñu boss. Ño fi njeka indi 3G ñu delu taxi 4G plus and now we bring you 5G. 5G. First and only 5G provider. Itella follow adi doron nesa keno. Gambia bela nyon tawa fele QCell. Ko fasun tawa buka busi QCell. Itella molti milka kukutol nati Gambia. QCell meta lori la kilianol yele imanyina amanda wala itella ka quality dila dadi ma itelle silo wala wodol mume be keno ma. QCell suni boss. QCell suni boss. QCell suni boss. QCell suni boss. Connect solo be bambandi QCell suni boss. QCell most innovative QCell suni boss.
Money arti webi nafitoragol no yawi te non kadi no moƴƴi kiw money a wawa wadde piiji ɗin fow kala ko wonɗa wattu kala a wawa hendade mbuuɗi maɗin e o kiw money app kesson a wawa nattinde mbuuɗi ma ɗum yaltina soda crédit soda kiw paɓa soda ko falaɗa te non kadi wawa hen yoɓude himɓe e ko heewi ina wawi kadi nuldude kiw money yoɓa bilji maɗin te non kadi hendoɗa mbuuɗi ko yaasi nulda himɓe kadi mbuuɗi fi nafitoragol ɗum no weeɓi yahu ka play store ma ɗum ka app store fi wawa fuɗɗade fi heɓugol hen ko laaɓi noddu kiw money customer care e 133 kiw money suñu kalpe minen
Kiw money suñu kalpe of the Gambia's first mobile wallet. I mean, safe, secure, and reliable. Yeah, so we are back, Julde, after that discussion with ChildFund on sending every child to school in the Gambia. It's important for each and every child to have access to education.
It is important.
I mean, that's the only way we can change the narratives, you know. Why are Mjalo, you went to China, munulo connect videos. Man munuma understand lolu. Yeah, so we have Usman on the line. Hello, Usman.
Thank you very much. Hello,
Mr. Jata.
Mr. Balde. Yes.
Ya Sheikh, Mr. Jata. So it's good to have you. Mu ngi melni yaangi taw ci gannaawi ci kanami ay har yang len jox gannaaw. So can you tell us what's happening and tell us the location? Where are you currently?
Indeed, thank you very much, Mr. Balde. Currently, we are along the Canifing Road, somewhere not very far from the Battle Harden Highway, you know, around BS School and the Ministry of Works to some extent. So here, business is fairly moving, and we have seen an influx of rams this year, but it's like business is just moving slowly for the time being, and maybe here against a few days to the Eid, because we only have 3 days to the Eid, but business is not moving as expected. But probably we're expecting that, you know, by, you know, a day or 2 days to the Eid, you know, more people will come out to buy rams. But for now, the business is just fairly moving.
Mr. Jata, from your point of view and gauging from last year and this year, I mean, comparing, okay, I mean, the ram sale this year and last year, which one is more booming?
It's like that of last year was a bit booming actually, but like I said, in the latter part of before the Eid, you know, most people prefer to buy their rams, because you're also looking at other factors like the feeding and so forth. So most people will consider that before they buy their rams, because maybe you don't have a space, a proper space where you will keep your ram, the feeding cost, all of that, considered. Most people will prefer to come in a latter part of it. But haven't mentioned about the booming aspect of it as well. You would look at the prices as well, like comparing this year to last year. It's like
50,000
there has been a vast difference in prices to some extent.
Yes. So, I mean, were you able to ask about the prices? What range do they have? Because that ram I'm seeing on TV, that looks 50,000 ram.
Indeed, I did engage some of the ram dealers here, and most of them have indicated to me that, like the one that you have just seen, it will cost around $40,000 to $50,000. That is like the highest, amount, around. Most of the ram dealers, that is what they told me, like it's within like a $40,000 like to $50,000. But they also have smaller, smaller sizes, which goes to up to 35,000, 30,000, 25,000, 15, and the list goes on, because there are different sizes as well. If compared to the ones that are in upcountry, which is a bit cheaper, because in upcountry you could get it up to from 10,000 to 15,000. So maybe the only thing that is going to make it a little bit expensive for somebody who wants to buy it from rural Gambia is the cost of transport. But aside from that, it's like it's cheaper in rural Gambia. But haven't mentioned about the price. The price seems to be different from that of last year because of the fluctuation in the exchange rate. The CFA against the dollar is very high now. We are talking about 625. So it's very high, and most of the dealers are complaining that that is their major challenge, despite the fact that the Ministry of Trade has taken some measures to make sure that the GRA waive all import duties and taxes on the imports of ram. But it's like they are very concerned about the issue of the CFA against the dollar.
Exactly. Well, Julda, I think it will be important for us to engage probably one or two people who are ram dealers. Were you able to engage them, or can we get one or two people and talk to them?
Yes, indeed, we can do that actually.
Yes. So please.
Yes. So it's that is it actually.
These are the different
rams that are available here.
Absolutely.
This is just one side of the dealership here. We have got some goats around. But we have more. Rams.
Nice.
One would say like Ima could estimate that these ones could go up to around from like 10 going upwards around 15. So we have a diverse group of ram dealers here, and this is just one section of the ram dealership here at Kanifing actually. So this is it. Assalamu alaikum bro, no def. Assalamu alaikum bro, no def. Yana ba. Yana har yaangi rafet. Mba na am har bo ma ñibe tay. Yeah, nice. So QTV la right now ñi live ñi bëgg xam like business bi naka la nekk di demee here against julli bi mu ngi ñëw ñu bëggoon xam like na business mu ngi dox as expected wow. So basically that is what is happening here actually. So these are the set of some of the set of rams that we have around here. They are really doing.
Yes.
I'll just have to move to the other side to be able to engage the dealers here actually. So yeah. Assalamu alaikum. Bro no def.
Man Boubacar.
Lan nga ñu mëna wax ci business bi this year? Business bi naka la mel?
Well, business bi alhamdulillah this year kan mom ko sam nga har yu bari ñoo doon ko last time bi ni daf day mëna fess bu baax ba. Waaye this time moom waaw muy xala slow ba pare client yi tam benn la gaa dee ñëw window shopping ñene teel mama yi ñëw so tam it's nice so yeah. You
think last year business was more booming last year than
Of course. Last year daf doon over boom sa cause time boobu woon xam nga nu meloon la tam cause ande xam ne client yi su ñëwee tam léegi tam ay xam nga so do de mun a xam ne tam waaye this year moom alhamdulillah
side boobu noonu mbiri price yi naka la mel because my laajte woon kenn mu ngi ma doon wax ne like from like ñi ngi am yenn yoo xam ne they are selling it to 40 35 you know yéen seen xar yi ñaata ngeen leen nekk di jaay.
of course su nga jaay noonu da war nañ koo jaay parce que fu gaay dem jëndaat am seen xar yi tam no one's no parce que dañ dee wax ne tam am xaalis ba increase CFA bi so xam so loolaa tax ñoom tam suñ jëndee loolu noonu si CFA boobu so waroon na ñëw fii profit bi du dee bari tam 2000 profit la or 3000 profit loolu la gaay dee ut man de mo alhamdulillah dama de mun a jaay in 19 18 waaw less than 17 sax dama de mun a jaay kon dama leen dee fii léegoo-léegi sama xam ne waa it's normal so let me give to them yeah.
So lan nga nekk di sentu like naka nga nekk di sentu business bi here against the Eid maybe like ay Thursday.
waaw boobu moom Thursday bi tam ñu bari loolu leen xam nga kenn du dee ñaan loolu noonu kat ñu bari leen dee wan ne xëy gars seen xarit itam dañoo lamba bàyyi ñu xaar ne ba last minute ñu dem foofu noonu dañ ko dee wanteer the ongoing dool kenn ñaanul loolu noonu waaye du dee demee noonu tam seen gars
thank you Mr. Jatta thank you very much
wow thank you so much Mr. Boubacar.
Thank you.
Wow, Mr. Balde, you just heard the guy there saying that like he has reasonable prices compared to the one that we asked at the other end who said, you know, he has up to like from 40 to 50, you know, to 35,000. So it's like we have some reasonable prices of rams to some extent.
Thank you very much Mr. Jatta for talking to us on QTV this morning. We hope to engage you probably tomorrow.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, so Julde, this is what we have. Ñun dañoo daw de. Thank you.